Welcome to our final episode of the season on Cluster Zero. Today we're going to look back at what we've learned and come and gone through this year, and we're going to talk about our teaching philosophies and how we think that we've changed over the course of this semester. So stick with us and we'll be right back.
Through the course of this season, we've learned so much about ourselves as science teachers, also just as educators alone. So we kind of just want to share with you guys what we've learned. We hope you viewers at home have learned more from it as well and are able to take things to your practice. So something that's super important for me, at least in science, is like inquiry, hands-on activities. I want my students to be able to be curious, be able to explore, be very independent in their learning, and kind of have choices. I think choices are so important. Like have choices on what they want to learn, how they want to do assessment, like through differentiation. How like when they're given an inquiry, I want them to be able to make choices on how they're going to change that inquiry, make it their own, make it personal, and just have like an overall positive view on science, I think.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good. I think the way my teaching philosophy has changed over this course is that I've really realized through all of like the lessons and the course planning that we've done is that science really shapes people. It shapes how you view the world, how you view the things that you do and what you're learning. And I think that science is so important because everything you're teaching, everything we're going through, all even just like how we form our lessons, like skills and inquiry and all of that, like you're building how somebody sees everything around them, how they interpret the world, how they interpret their interactions with different things. And I think that that is really important. I think that that's one way that, or one reason that it's so important to include all different kinds of lessons in your units, such as like inquiry and design process and all those hands-on things, is that you need to show all those different perspectives and different ways to go about like dealing with information. And I think that's super important. So
I totally agree, and I feel like through this process I've learned that you can integrate science and other subjects together, and this way students are able to have a better background knowledge and relation, and it just builds on top of another. And at the same time, I feel like I've learned that the communication is a big part of science, and this is how you can tell whether your students are able to express what they've learned through verbal and nonverbal ways.
I think so too.
I think the other thing I've learned is for like just my own classroom management, how at the beginning of the year I really want to set precedents for how we're going to do inquiry, how we're going to do design process, and a lot of hands-on activities. I want to incorporate activity centers and those type of things, and I want my students to feel comfortable with it, because I think if I introduce it at the beginning of the year, as the year goes on, just transitioning into those activities are going to be so easy, and the students are going to feel comfortable, and when they feel comfortable in the transitions, they're going to feel comfortable in exploring and kind of like just like diving into the curriculum, diving into like the learning process, and I think overall that'll be like a really like strong foundation to start in, like every year to start in your classroom. And I think the cluster diagrams that we did was awesome for planning our curriculum.
Yeah, really helpful.
It's a good way to see how you don't have to teach all the SLOs in numerical order. You can like plan your essential questions, and everyone can teach differently. Like when we did our demonstration, we were making changes, and so I think it shows like the creativity that a teacher can have and how they're going to teach, not just the creativity that a student can have in their learning.
And going to that, that I feel that it, for us, if we do it a specific way, we can also change it if it doesn't work out to the way that we would like expect it to. And also for the kids too, if they come up with something, they're hands-on designing something and it doesn't go the way that they want to, that's an opportunity for them to reflect on why it wasn't successful.
Totally. I think another one, and it's with all of this planning, like science can be fun, like, and I think that gets lost so easily, is that like note-taking kills and the textbook is boring, and it's so easy to like lose the like fun and enjoyable experience of science. But there's so many little things that you can do to get yourself organized and figure things out and plan ahead, and it can make all the difference. And if a kid loves or hates science, it can really change their perspective and outlook throughout the rest of their education on if they're going to love science or if it's going to be something that they dread every day. So I think it's super important to like use these planning strategies to make science fun.
And I learned a lot about myself as a teacher and my teaching philosophy through that nature of science profile we did. Like a lot of things I didn't even realize about myself and my my opinions of science. When I read my profile, I was like, oh my gosh, that is me. And I was really able to kind of like take a step back and look at it from another angle of why I do the things I do when I'm like planning my lessons and that kind of thing. And what I want to focus on in curriculum is all goes back to that profile that we did that day.
You don't realize how strong your opinions are on certain things until you take that test and see like, no, this is something I really believe in, and this is something that I think should be important in my classroom. Until you take that, I feel like before I took that test, it was just sort of like, oh, you know, science, you just do it and that's it. Whereas no, there's so many different things in science where you can make it your own and feel like that personal connection to the topics that you're dealing with. So
Yeah.
I think we can really grow from this, and you know, we talked about our positive science experiences when we were students, and now we can try our best to like promote and create as many positive experiences for our students in the future, so that way when they look back they have a very positive outlook on science as a course.
yeah. So we've got a bunch of tweets here from Dee Sutherland. She says, thanks for sharing your learning with me. And she says that if she was to give us a letter grade on this program, that it would be an A+ all around. So yeah, thanks again for the support, Dee Sutherland. We really appreciate it. It means a lot.
Another one from her. Just wondering about meet and greets, if we're going to be hosting and coming to her city anytime soon. Not sure where Dee Sutherland is located, but we are located in the Annex building from 8 to 7 every day. So
Every day.
like the lineups are always long, but I'm sure she can get there early and see us before noon.
Well, that's it for us this season. So thanks for watching, thanks for being dedicated, and thanks for loving science with us. So that's it for us.
Thanks, guys.
Until next time.